Hello Gophers, and welcome to our new video in the series of how to build microservices using Golang. In this video, we'll be learning majorly about how to create your own domain related services. Before we move forward and start digging deep into how to create those services, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also press the bell icon so that you don't miss on any important notifications of any new videos that we put across in this series or any new series that we put across for you guys and that might help you in some other way. So while creating any domain related services, we'll divide the task into three major sections. So first we'll decide how many microservices do we need. Then we'll plan on the business entities inside each microservices. And then after deciding the entities, we'll start planning on the API endpoints needed inside each microservices. Now, while deciding how many microservices that we need to think about the correlations between each service. And by correlation, I would say that your dependency between each services should be kept to minimum so that those services can be running independently and do not interfere with another service running or anything, so that any service in between, if you want to stop it, it does not have impact on the other services. So you should keep the relations between or the correlations between any services to the minimum as possible. Then while planning any business entities inside each microservices, you would also understand what are the different third party packages needed for the service. Like sometimes you need UUID, that is generally referred to as a unique ID. And then we'll go ahead to plan on the endpoints needed inside each microservices. And by endpoint, I would also say this is not restricted. Don't restrict yourself to just endpoints, APIs, but also to some methods that you would be exposing using other mechanism like gRPC or other ways. So once you are done with analyzing all the 3 points for your application and you have noted down each and every service that you need, you have noted down the basic entities that you would be creating, endpoints that you need, and you're finished off with the basic understanding of what are the different microservices that you would be creating. So then the next question comes is, how would you structure your code inside the microservice? Now there are many ways of structuring the code. So one of which we discussed in our earlier video, that is in the authentication and authorization video. If you have not looked at the video, please click on the eye icon on the top and have a look at the layered architecture. We'll do a detailed video about the architectural patterns that are available in Go, and we'll come up with that soon. So right now in this video, I'll be taking up domain driven architecture where we would create domain of the service. So all the domains that the service would be catering to. So for example, for this app series, we'll be taking up employee and task related project where each employee has their own tasks and we'll have the tasks added and removed for each employee. So right now we'll be creating an employee microservice and a task microservice, and the architecture of the code that I would follow, just for understanding. This is not that you should follow this only in the domain related services. This is just to give you an understanding that there are other coding architectural patterns that you can also use in Go. I'll do a detailed video about what is domain driven architecture and how to choose what is domain, what is context, and all the related terminologies about the domain driven architecture in another video. In this video, we'll just keep it short and we'll just follow the architecture pattern. So in domain driven architecture, basically we have, like for us, we have the basic CRUD operations as our domain. I'll treat them as a domain. So I have add, list, put is update, and then delete. So basically 4 domains that each microservice that I create, that is employee and task, would be having. Then we also have a repository. So this repository I've created separately just to have an enhancement in case we want to include some different type of repository. So right now, let's say we are working with MongoDB. In future, we want to move to Postgres as well. So we would have two options there. So we can slowly enhance our repository. So that's why I keep that as a separate package. Now let's go to the code and try to understand how we are creating a microservice and how those microservices endpoints being created. We have not created the relation between the microservices yet. We have not established that. That we'll establish after we understand the gRPC. So once gRPC is done, we'll try to connect each microservices together. Now let's move to code. So let's have a look at the code that we follow inside the domain services. So this is an employee service and a task service. If you remember, we have already created the authentication service which followed the layered architecture. Now in employee, we are following the domain driven architecture. So we have a add package, we have a delete package, we have a get package, update package, and persistence for your database driven database related activities. We also have a data package. This is for business entities, and right now I've stored the static data just to avoid connection to a database for this video. And we have some common handlers, common functions for handling errors. We have a CMD, which is again the actual client exposing a mechanism. So right now we have created a API for us. So if you see in this, I have created the dependency injection for each service that is being built. So first of all, I need a persistence object. Right now, I'm not passing in the connection string or anything right now because I'm not using it. Then we register route for get, put, add, and delete. So while registering a get, we try to create all the dependent services, then initiate the route for the get, only for get. So if you see in the get structure, we have three sort of files. One is get employee route, get employee handler, and get employee service. So we are in this get register, we are just invoking the get router for us, and this is registering two routes, get by id and get all. Then this is calling the handler, and then handler would be calling the service eventually then ends up calling the persistence layer, and corresponding in each service we are doing the same. And similarly our service gets built up, and same pattern we have followed in the task service also. So let's try to run this service just to have understanding if everything is working fine for us. So it says it is up and running on port 8080. Now let's start by running get all employees. So this is the endpoint that is for get all employees. It successfully got the list of employees for us, where we have three employees, ID 1, 2, and 3. Let's delete an employee ID 3 for us. So it is deleted employee ID 3. If I get employees again, so I don't get the employee ID 3, and all the APIs inside the employees are working similarly. Like if I try to add an employee 4 with name employee 4, it would generate an ID automatically as 3 because 3 is now eliminated, so it's reusing the IDs for us. But that's your logic. You can plan to not reuse those IDs, and it has added. Now if I try to get all, it is pulling up the fourth employee that we just added, employee 4. And let's see, employee by ID 1, so it's getting me employee by ID 1, and so on. So this is how my employee service is working. Now if you want to run the task service also, you can go ahead and run that again. So task go run this will run task service. Sorry, this I have to give the port number. another port, let's say 8082. So this will run the task service on port 8082. And similarly, we again have APIs for get all tasks on port 8082. See, we have got 3 tasks and so. So this is how we created domain related services, and in the next coming video we'll be understanding how to use gRPC and do interrelation between the services and those things. So that's all for today, and hope to see you back in the next video. So thank you for watching this video. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon so that you don't miss on any notification on any new videos that we put across for this series, or we create new series for some kind of new topics. We would also like to hear from you guys in case you have some suggestions on how we can improve, or what topics do you want us to cover for you guys that could help you in improving somehow.